How can you hold your leader accountable? Well, I'll give you 10 ways. Now, use your judgment, have a little discernment around this. Not everything that I share with you is going to apply to every situation. If you're in a well-functioning team, this is going to be easy peasy. If you're in a place where there's like a little bit of toxicity, well, you're going to have to kind of use your judgment and maybe some of your political skills and figure out which ones will work. And if you're in really an unbearable situation, and I get it, sometimes you just find yourself in that situation, there's no way out. But I would seriously use your energy, not on tips, but on ways of finding a better environment. Get out of where you are if it's really that bad. Life's too short. Make good choices. So the first one is give honest feedback. Actually talk with your leader and let them know what they're doing well, what they're not doing so well. You prefer it when that happens in your life. Well, so do they. Number 2, remember to ask questions. If things aren't clear, you can't just anticipate whim. Have them be specific. So ask those questions. The more specific that they are, the better you're going to be able to act on it, the more accountable you're holding them to. But there's less plausible deniability. Number 3, keep track of promises that are made. This is where meeting notes are useful. This is what we agreed to. This is what we said what was going to be done. This is the support we were going to receive from you. And then, check on those. You said this, how are we doing? That's accountability. The other way, of course, is using the company rules to your advantage. In other words, your company, your organization has some values. Hopefully, they're things that you really believe in. They're not just pinned to the wall on the reception area. They're actually what you guys are living. Well, if there are values or policies or just this is the way that it's done and it's pretty much common knowledge, use those to your advantage in the sense of like, hey, I thought customer satisfaction was the most important thing to this organization, but this decision doesn't seem to match that, which is more important. Now, you can approach that with curiosity, not accusations. It'll go a long way. But if you make sure that you're saying, hey, I thought this is what we were working on, and you do that enough times, again, depending upon your organization, you're helping manage up. You're helping manage that leader to be making better decisions. You're holding them accountable, which is good for everybody. Number 5, offer ideas. Now, I'm a big proponent of idea identification and problem solving are 2 different skill sets. But there's no reason that you can't have some solutions, particularly if you're, really actually have the solution. If you're working on the problems and hey, this is what we need. It could very well be that your leader, 1, they're under different constraints, or 2, they didn't know that. Again, it could be innocent. They could have other things on their mind, or it could be like they're a goofball and reminding them of some things would be a little helpful for you. Again, if you don't care about who gets credit, coming up with solutions can help quite a bit. Don't let that be abused, but, a little nudge here and there from time to time can be helpful. Set regular meetings. Look, you're supposed to be having one-on-ones with your leader, your direct manager. If they're not able to do that, well, you've got a lousy leader. You've got to work through that. So if they can't do that, make sure that you're doing it, even if it's on the down low. Hey, I guess we meet every month at this time, and here's where we discuss things. And you do it in reverse. It's like, hey, here's where we are with our goals, and here's where you are with what you said you were going to do. Again, don't be a jackass when you do this, but you can do this in a way that has got some nice kindness and kind of a happy warrior approach to it that is going to be very helpful. Also, encourage team feedback. So encourage your leader to get feedback, not just from the person who's the loudest or the person who always provides feedback. Encourage your leader to hear from the people who are quiet, the people who don't want to share their opinions, the people who are grumps, the people who are like, oh, nobody ever listens to me. So try to get your leader to listen to everybody so that there's a little bit more well-rounded decision-making going on. Number 8, of course, you've got to show accountability yourself. If you're shirking responsibility, if you're blaming, if you're saying, oh, that wasn't me or whatever, don't expect it from other people. So you've got to role model accountability. Now, don't get into this, well, I don't get paid for that bullshit. You do. You're a human being. Show some integrity. Number 9, work to keep the team together. Everybody has different opinions and things like that, but try to make sure that everybody's on the same page of the decisions that are being made. The way that you kind of do that and share with your leader is like, hey, not everybody agrees with this. And that forces the leader to actually lead and work on ways to enroll other people into the decision, or to find out, okay, what are the naysayers saying? Maybe they've got a point. And so that's one way that you can manage up. That's one way of holding your leader accountable. Number 10 is respect boundaries. You've got to respect the leader's boundaries, but the leader also has to respect yours. And the way that you communicate that is you actually have to communicate, here's our boundaries. And you have to remind each other of that. So if you find that a leader is micromanaging you, Well, partly that's on you because you're letting that happen. By the same token, if you've got a manager who's kind of laissez-faire, they're nowhere to be around, and you need decisions made and they can't be found, that's not so great either. So you've got to say, look, here's what I'm putting up with, here's what you'll put up with. You're going to be able to have those discussions. Now, assuming you're an adult, you should be able to do that. So there you have it, 10 ways to hold a leader accountable. They're not all going to work for you. You shouldn't expect them all to work for you, but pick the one that you think will and try it out. Then try some others. If they don't work for you, again, figure out why is it? Am I really in a lousy environment here, or is it me and I'm just not applying it right, or I'm being a goofball or a jerk about it? So, a little humility around it. But again, you're on the same team. Their goal should be to have you win. Your goal should be to have them win. So if you're both looking for a win, you should be able to figure out a way to work better and hold each other accountable without anybody crying.